You're listening to Real Love, Real Stories, the place to be to hear love stories. In the guest chair today, I have Ivo and Sheila. Together, they host a podcast called Shivo versus the First World. And Ivo has a podcast called Podcast Pontifications as well, and is well-versed on all things podcast. Interesting thing about this couple is that he went to OU, which makes him an OU Sooner fan. And then she went to OSU, which makes her a Cowboys fan, which is my alma mater. So interesting conversation with them. I had so much fun talking to them. So I hope you enjoyed their love story. Enjoy. Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/real love, real stories and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/real love, real stories to get started today. Thank you so much for being on Real Love, Real Stories. I'm really excited to be talking with you two, but let's have you guys introduce yourself to the audience.
I think you should introduce me, honey, and I should introduce
You know that's what I was going to do, right? I'm Ivo Terra.
No. Not like that.
I'm Sheila D. And I've been married to Ivo Terra for 30 plus years.
30 plus?
30 plus.
Well, it's not 31. It's just 30 now. 30 and a half.
Yeah, but 6 months is in there.
Right. That's why I said the half.
Right. There we go. Okay. But it wouldn't be 30 and a half years because wouldn't that be like 35? No? No,
that'd be that.
No, math
counting
is
in
hard
decades.
Today.
For sure. Pretty sure 30 and a half is, 30 and 6 months.
Yes. Who are you?
Well, my name is Ivo Terra. I have been married to the lovely Sheila D for about the same amount of time that you've been married to me.
It's amazing how that works.
We have been married since 1989. We got married when we were 20 years old because we were dumb. And haven't killed each other yet.
Yeah, that's a perfect place to start. So why don't you take us back to when you met and share with us your love journey?
Well.
Oh, my. Go ahead, baby.
There was a lot of alcohol, football, and friends and dancing, and more friends saying, don't mess with that girl.
Yeah. That's kind of it in a nutshell. I'll elaborate a little bit more. We met at a party at the University of Oklahoma State. No, that's what you call it. You call it Oklahoma State University.
State University. Go Pokes.
Yeah. She was a student there. I was a student at the University of Oklahoma, the rival school in the state, as you well know.
Yes.
And I went to a house party. A friend of mine invited me to a party. It was on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. Come watch the football game. I don't even recall who was playing, and hang out at the place and have a party.
But they didn't have tickets for you.
They did not have tickets for me, so this lovely young woman said she would give me her ticket.
I hung out with the keg.
Yeah, she was babysitting the keg of beer.
Okay, so did you know each other then?
We did not know each other. I knew one person, two people, I think, in the house at the time. And, so it was just come down, hang out, and meet some friends. And
the guys weren't going to go to the football game if they couldn't get you a ticket.
Yeah.
So it didn't seem fair.
Okay.
So I just gave them mine.
So she volunteers a ticket, come back to the party afterwards, more drinking and dancing, having fun. Hey, my friend that invited me up pulls me outside and he says, hey, I want you to come take a look at my Carmen Ghia car that he had.
Okay.
Because I've done some things on my Carmen Ghia, and I walk outside and I'm thinking, Kurt, I helped you build this Carmen Ghia. Yeah. What are you talking about? And he said, that girl you've been talking to all night long? Yeah, don't. Because her ex-boyfriend lives here in the house with us. And so it'd be kind of cool if you just kind of chilled on that and really didn't make any moves. So basically that was my excuse right there, right? Because the opportunity to do exactly what I shouldn't be doing, like, okay, I'll do that. And so the rest was history.
So at this point, though, you're talking, and are there any like hearts flying out? You know, the cartoons where the hearts are like flying when a love connection happens?
There was a lot of beer flying around at the time.
Yes. And I think Dr. Pepper and peach schnapps.
Well, that would be what you were drinking.
Sounds disgusting.
But you
now.
were guarding the keg.
Yeah. So we, I think after a couple phone calls, you ended up coming up to help me with my algebra.
Yeah, that was the that was what you said. I think that's what you wanted some help with, nonetheless. But yeah, and what was it? 6 months later?
Oh, okay.
Maybe a little bit longer than that when we moved in together.
Yep.
Yeah. After my second semester at OSU, then I moved down to Norman and we moved in together.
So that was like 6-7 months of a long distance, and it was a 90-minute drive between Norman, Oklahoma, and Stillwater, Oklahoma. Yeah, through Oklahoma City every single time, and that was a lot of long weekends or just long drives in the middle of the week because you're 20 or at the time 19 and dumb, and you do those sorts of things. But yeah, I moved in, and what happened after that?
Moved in, lived together for a year, got engaged, bought a house, got married. Bought a car. Yeah,
and then spiraled around after that. Yeah, we bought the house together before we were married.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so, doing things, we don't like to do things in a linear fashion. That's not really important to us.
I don't like to do things the way people say you have to do them.
There's that as well.
Yeah, there's no fun in that.
Right.
I know we skipped a lot of stages of, we kind of jumped into that, but that's fine. So can you talk to us about was there a proposal happening? You moved in together, yes. Was there a proposal?
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, Ivo was working for a company that kept him away a lot. He was traveling.
Okay.
And so there were a lot of, at that time, outrageous phone bills because it was all long distance at that time.
Right.
And we talked for like an hour and a half on the phone while he was gone every day. And when he got back, there was one point where when we moved in together, I said, I don't want to talk about marriage or anything future-wise until we've lived together for a year. I'd had a couple roommates in college. I was starting to think there was something wrong with me. And so I don't want any talk.
Right.
And then, I don't know, it was probably 6 months in. We were on a call one night and I just said, no pressure, but whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
Wow.
And that was sometime in November, and then Christmas time he proposed.
Oh.
I do what I'm told sometimes.
Well, that was perfect.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. So how long was that from the day that you met at the party to that December when he proposed?
A year and a half.
Not quite that long, because the football game would have been like in October or September. So
September.
Okay.
Yeah, a year and 4 months or so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Yeah. So that's beautiful. I love that. So you said you've been married for
30 years, a little over 30
years. Okay.
Yeah. We've been together 32, I think.
Yeah.
Is what we figured.
Okay. So a lot of couples that I talk to that are in relationships, 30 years, there are some things that you living together, some annoyances. Can you talk about some of the annoyances that you guys?
I think they're all on me to talk about the things that annoy me about one, because I, as everyone knows, you want to start?
I'll let you start. I'm interested.
Oh, well, we certainly have learned a few things about each other over the years, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We have to have a lot of things. I think any couple that stays together for a long time, that wants to stay together for the long time, that has the ability to leave whenever they want, and that's welcome to living in the modern world of the first world. We could do that if we wanted to.
Right.
But I think in order for someone to be successful in that, you have to be alike in a lot of ways, but you also have to have differences.
Right.
I think that if people are too alike, it's like it's a resonance wave that starts building, and the little things that aren't great between the two of you aren't great for the other person either, and that just builds and ruins. So I've seen a lot of people who you would say, man, they're perfect for each other, that don't make it.
Right.
No one said we're perfect for each other when we got started. I mean, there were a lot of similarities, but there were a lot of differences too.
Yeah.
So to me, I think the when you come to the annoyances, it's more of the things that Sheila does significantly differently than I would do. Mm-hmm. But they're all really petty, minor things that don't matter. You hear the stories of people saying, he leaves the cap off of the toothpaste and things like that
Right.
that drove people away. And I mean, I think we probably have those things, but not to the point of that. Therefore, I'm going to leave because of something that silly.
No. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be that big that it annoys you to that
And
end.
I think we kind of make fun of those kind of things.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Of each other. So, like, I know for me, there's one specific way to put the toilet paper on the toilet paper roll.
Okay.
And so I almost always put it on the right way.
Up or down?
Over.
Okay, over. Yeah.
And somebody in this room will go through and change those.
Not because I think my way is better, because I genuinely don't care. It's toilet paper. I don't care the way that it's hanging, but I know that it kind of bugs her to have it the other way, and so I might do that on a regular basis.
Wait, so you put it on, and you actually, when you go and take it off, and
I have been known to do that.
Yes.
And she's lucky I replace it at all, is the way I'm looking at it.
We have our own separate bathrooms now,
That is
and I
true.
rarely go into his anymore. So I'm sorry, because that is the guest bathroom too. So
It's clean. It's
I have
clean.
no control over the way that the toilet paper goes in that bathroom.
What about me bugs you, honey?
What bothers me? Oh, goodness. I'm on the spot now. You are sometimes critical of my driving and my map reading skills. And neither one of those deserve the criticism. And to the point that for one of them, you were criticizing, both of them actually, you were criticizing so much that what happens now?
Yes, I'm the one that actually does the driving. But I just want to point out the fact that the thing that annoys you about me is the fact that I'm critical of things you don't do well.
I do them well. I don't do them to your liking. Nobody else has an issue with it. I can get myself around with a map just fine without you. I just don't do it as fast as you would like me to,
That is
or
true.
the same way, which goes back to your point that we're not the same.
That is true. That is true. But we've learned to live with these things and adapt to those things.
Right.
So yeah, there are certain
Yeah.
things that I don't want to do that she's very happy to do.
Right.
There are many things that I like to do that I like to do. So it's
Yeah.
simple as that. So things like cooking. I'm the cook in the house.
okay.
That's
Okay.
primarily my job. Not that Sheila can't cook,
Yeah.
I just don't do it well. That is one of the things I don't do well.
and I enjoy it. To me, it's fun.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so those sorts of things, right? So, but yeah, we just find out what are the things that the other person doesn't like to do that the other person either loves doing, and like in
they
my
do
case, I
that.
love cooking, or doesn't mind doing. And then we're fortunate that neither of us have something that we hate that we equally can't stand to
Right.
do. So it's a good partnership.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So on the flip side of that, then, can you share some things that you love about each other?
Oh, absolutely. He makes me laugh every day. He, even after 32 years, he still, as I walk by, grabs my ass.
That too.
I love it. That's beautiful.
So
Yeah,
it's
and-
the romance.
Well, and I mean, to be honest with you, it makes me exceedingly happy to make her laugh.
Yeah.
I go out of my way to do it because the act of having her laugh brings me joy. And so I certainly want to do that
Yeah.
on a regular basis, right? I mean, I'm a joker. I like anybody to laugh, but the person I want to laugh every single day is sitting right next to me all the time. So yeah.
Yeah,
So I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Sometimes his jokes aren't funny, though.
Do you love still, or do you?
Depends on the joke.
Not all of my jokes are always appreciated, but there are other ways to do things.
I love it. I love it. So the reason why I did the podcast, is to give hope to people, whether you're in a relationship or whether you're single, is to hear stories like what you're sharing. And I know your story, there's other parts like you're coming to my event and you're sharing a portion of your story. So we want to talk about it here because we'll have a different episode for that.
Right.
But the idea behind me creating this podcast is to give hope and inspiration to people like myself who might be single. And what I'm learning too is that even people who are in relationships are finding hope from these stories. So I'm just wondering, what advice would you give to, somebody who may be single, who's looking for love, even though you haven't looked for it in over 30 years, but...
we didn't say that. No, I'm kidding. We've not done that. Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
See,
a different
there's
episode.
that not so funny joke.
So again, Sheila and I have been married for the longest time, as we've discussed, but so first off, our relationship wasn't supposed to work. So coming to us for advice on how to make it work we're probably bad examples of that, because Sheila's grandparents are all divorced. Both of our parents are all divorced.
My grandparents were divorced before I was even born. So back in the 60s, when that wasn't the norm. Our parents have been divorced multiple times.
Right.
And, we weren't set up for how to deal with relationships.
Yeah. So, how to find it, I don't know that we're any good advice. How to keep it, probably, because
let's talk about that.
We've definitely, stood the test of time, obviously, again, against all odds, this weird relationship is actually working for us. I think there's a few things that let it work together. One is, many people see Sheila and I as a couple. I mean, Shivo, right? That's us together.
Hashtag Shivo.
Yeah. We were branded that way by a friend some time ago, and it makes sense, right? Because everybody looks and says, you're this entity together. Yeah. And that's how many of our friends see us. They only see us together as this dynamic duo, as you will, of this thing that's called Shivo. But, internally, we're both very strong-willed, stubborn people. We know it. We've had some friends over time say, there's always a winner and a loser in a relationship. They tell us. They said, but not with you two. You're both winners in a relationship because we're both bullheaded, strong-willed, and we'll fight for the things that we want to get done. But I think the reality of that is, we also don't have to care about everything. We don't have to win every argument. Well, I might have to win most arguments, but we don't have to be the best. We're not competing against each other in that. Inside of the world of Shivo, we're two very distinctly different people, and we rely on the other person to complement those parts of ourselves that we don't do well, that we don't want to do well, that need to be taken care of by somebody else. It's a lot of offloading of responsibilities back and forth to each other. We don't have to be, even though we're both strong individual and we're great as a couple together as well, there's not a lot of competition internally, I think.
Right. I don't think so. I think listening and understanding the other person's perspective helps a lot.
Yeah.
And just being there, being a sounding board. One of the things I think that's great for you and I is we're really good at, if there's a problem, we work together to solve it. It's not you have to go deal with this because this is your issue. Right. It's really we come together in that kind of situation. And, for me, I'm in the middle of I'm back in school. So I'm working full time at a pretty stressful position. Plus I'm going to school. And I couldn't do that without him, because he's my support. He makes sure that I eat because I'm not really good at taking care of myself when I'm so heads down into work and things. And I do the same thing for him. Not so much the eating, because he'll figure that out. But we balance each other out throughout.
Yeah, and that's very important in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think one more thing is, neither of us are jealous people by nature. And that, I don't mean that just in a romantic love sort of way, and he looked at my husband or she looked at my man, that kind of, no, that's not what I mean. We're just not jealous. We don't covet things that others have. We don't aspire to what do I have to do to really make that thing, and I'm jealous of that person for the success that they have. That's not us at all, and that's certainly not us internally, which is a big part of it. Is together. We're not Again, it goes back to we're not jealous about the successes that the other person is having, or if someone stands in the spotlight for a while longer than the other. None of that becomes an issue. And I think that's probably because we're both pretty strong-willed people, have opinions. We're not afraid to talk about those and share those. But I know a lot of them, a lot of relationships I've heard of fail because one person gets jealous of the other person is having all of the success or all of that, and it's a situation where one has to fade in the background. And for us, it's never been that way, not once.
Yeah, I like that. I was having a conversation with somebody who was talking about dating somebody who travels a lot, and how they just spiral into this thing when they call their person and they don't answer the phone. They're like, what is he doing? Who is he with? And it's like, oh my God, that doesn't sound very healthy.
No, not at all. And you have to realize, there's a lot of, especially when you travel for work, there's a lot of things going on. Like there's a lot of business stuff going on.
Yeah, you can't just answer the phone all the time. So.
Right.
But I think it was in the evening where all those things were, so I don't know. Anyways, I do want to go back to what you were talking about, that your relationship was not supposed to work. I think it's how you said it.
Yeah.
And I remember when we talked before and you shared having to go from Oklahoma to Texas to...
Yeah.
Are you okay sharing that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like I said, we just kind of stumbled into this relationship. Neither of us was looking for a relationship. In fact, when we were first together, we kept telling each other, "Well, we'll see how long this thing lasts." Right? This is just for fun. We get that, right? This is just a fun relationship. We might have used different words, but that's what I'm saying. It was just a fun thing, right? Until it became not a fun thing. But
I don't know that I've shared this with you, but while we were dating, I had a proposal.
What was the proposal?
A marriage.
To start a new business?
No, a marriage proposal.
I don't know. Was that from the football team?
Anyway.
You've not told me that.
No. Yeah.
Were you dating this person? Or
Yeah, I dated him for a couple months, and then all of a sudden he came out, and I'm like, no.
Maybe that guy was what pushed you over the edge for me. Who knows?
Maybe.
See, that's it. Have him date a loser, and then
I didn't say he was a loser.
Well, he lost. I won. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know that I would look at it that way.
Anyhow, so let's see. I mean, I'm going to try to make sure that the story goes the direction where you want it to. Kanu, because we got together, we bought a house, we did all those various things, and this has kind of been a pattern that happens in our life quickly. Sheila decided that she needed a change.
Okay.
Sheila decided she needed a change, and that change is she wanted to become a travel agent.
Yes.
Okay.
And to become a travel agent, she needed to go to travel agency school, which was in Dallas, Texas.
No.
Oh,
it was in Oklahoma City. I went to school in Oklahoma City.
You're right. I apologize. You because it's been 31 years, right? Or 32 years. She went to school, but couldn't get a job in Oklahoma City. So wound up getting a job in Dallas, Texas, which is about 3.5 hours from Norman, where we lived, or more, when we lived, to Dallas was where she lived. And how long did that last?
I was with them for, I think, 2 years. But it was probably 9 months in when I finally said, enough is enough. You have to make a decision. Either come down here or we're done. Yeah,
because she was living in Dallas, actually outside of Fort Worth.
Okay.
For the week. And then either she would drive back the 3.5 hours to Oklahoma City, where her husband and her house was.
Oh, okay.
Or I would leave and drive to Dallas and spend the weekend. Were there weekends we didn't spend any time?
I don't think so. I think I was coming back home because you were working at the tire shop and had to work on the Saturdays. You rarely came down. I was doing the travel, and there were some weekends that I would come in Friday night after work and then leave early Monday morning
to go straight to
Yeah, I can recall doing that a couple of times, getting up like at 3:00 in the morning on Monday and getting in the car and driving so that I'm back to Oklahoma City around 7:00.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we did that for about 9 months. Yeah, until she issued the the ultimatum that we both had that I just hadn't voiced, and it was, this can't continue.
This doesn't work.
Yeah, we either end this now or we move there. And
realistically, I mean, and this has been true throughout our relationship, we're better together than we are apart. And so, with me being away for 9 months, that just didn't work. It's not us.
No, we knew quickly. Well, I don't know if it's quickly or not, but I guess early in our relationship that wouldn't work out for us. So I quit. We moved. So
so you moved to Texas?
Yeah, we moved. I moved
Sold
to Dallas.
The house. And, wow.
Well, there's nightmare with that.
Story.
Didn't really sell the house. Rented the house to a friend of ours who was going to cover the mortgage.
And that was in quotes.
The friend was in quotes because friend didn't cover the mortgage, and we wound up losing that house.
Right.
Oh man. Okay.
Because the debt got so bad with that. So.
Yeah.
We were young and dumb.
We were. We made a lot of dumb decisions. Some of them more than once, but none of them. We've continued.
Yeah, and then we left. You worked for a big tire company in Dallas, and then right after we had our son, they asked us to move to California. And so on like a month after our son was born, I got a call from E. I was in Oklahoma, and he said, "What do you think about moving to California, to Los Angeles?" And I'm like, "I'm in. I've never been there before, but I'm in."
Nice.
Yeah.
And off you went?
Very much. We flew out to go check it out, and got off the plane, and there's palm trees all the time, and it's January, and we're thinking, we should do this thing.
Right.
We're getting out of here. So,
but that's kind of been the story of our life. Is one of us will say, "What do you think about this?" and the other one's like, "Yep, let's go," and jump in. Yeah.
Neither of us are traditionalists. Neither of us are attached to locations.
Right.
People always say, "Where are you from?" And I honestly have to struggle with the answer because I don't know what you mean by that. I can tell you where I grew up. I can tell you the places that I've been. I can tell you where I am now, but from? And what do I consider home? Is right here. And this is home, right? Mm-hmm. And so for us, when the other one's ready to make a move for relocate, get a new job, new career, sell everything and travel the world, we just do it. It's like, well, that's not even. Let's have a quick discussion, right? Let's make sure that we're both on the same page with this. And I think we always have been. Has there been a time we've not come to an agreement on that?
No, I'm pretty convincing.
There is that as well. Yeah.
And I know that you talked about, selling your house and everything and traveling.
That was fun.
And I know that's the story that you guys are sharing, so we'll have a separate, but do you want to tell the audience a little bit about that experience? Just like a summarized version of that?
Yeah, summarized is early November of 2014. We had no idea what we were going to do. And by January 13th, we had sold everything and had a one-way ticket to France.
Yeah. And 3.5 years later, we moved back. I mean, France led to a bunch of other countries. And again, we'll talk about some of that story. But yeah, I mean, here we were at the ripe age of, what were we, 46 at the time?
Yeah.
So we had what I characterize as a shared midlife crisis, which wasn't. I just call it that because it's kind of fun.
Right.
But yeah, and we, over a handful of evenings talking about this idea, we both said, why not?
Yeah.
We both tend to land on our feet with whatever happens.
Right.
And people say, well, you're extremely lucky. And I suppose it's part of that. But both of us work to do what I call increase our luck surface area. And that is we're constantly looking for interesting opportunities. And we're both good at seeing trends or putting ourselves in situations to where that thing other people call luck can happen to us because we're aware of these things. We see them as they pass by. So, even when we've made some bad decisions, we've been in near financial ruin. We've had all sorts of bad things that have happened to us, but on the whole, it's always up and to the right. We've always just come out ahead and come out better, and I assume part of that is luck, but I really think a lot of it is we're just looking for opportunities and we support each other.
Yeah,
when this is the opportunity to do things right now, and it's always worked out.
Yeah, I like it. It's beautiful. You guys look cute together. For those that can see you look really good together.
We try.
So those are the questions I had for you. So I want to just put it to you guys to say, is there any question or anything that you want to share the audience that I didn't ask you?
I just want to say I love you.
Aww. Were you talking to me? Oh, you were. Awesome. Thank you, baby.
Kenny, I love you too.
I think I said earlier that, we get asked by our friends a lot, what does it take, especially new friends that meet us for the first time. And say, how did all the things that have happened to you? You had a kid really early in life. We got married at 20, had a kid at 23. We've both gone through multiple career changes, like completely different, not following the normal things.
We left all of our friends and family and moved to California with a small child.
With a 4-month-old.
So we had no family support when we moved out.
Right. Yeah, we had to build our own family of friends and coworkers when we got to California.
Yeah.
And then kind of the same thing when we moved to Phoenix. We didn't have anybody here that we knew when we moved to Phoenix. Now, the good news is I had a job with a company that moved me to Phoenix, and so that worked out. So we had that. But I think we're both really good at building our own I don't know if it's internal or not, but our own support structure.
Okay.
And most of the time, it tends to be a shared support structure. I have a lot of connections and acquaintances who have, like, guys that I know have their guy friends and they've gotten to do very much guy things. Well, I have my guy friends too, but those same guy friends, their wives get together with them and we all do things together. It's
nice.
It's more couple friends than we have that.
Right.
Well, and even your guy friends, I don't mind hanging out with.
Right.
Like, there's not any of our friends, I don't think either one of us have any friends that we just go, I can't do it.
No. No, we have some collective friends that we say that about, but nonetheless, that's a... But yeah, again, that goes back to the Shivo concept. While we are distinctly two different people, we don't have... Our support structure is tied to one another. It's similar. So, when friends get divorced, that happens. How do you split friends? And the way it always happens is you pick one or the other to stay friends with, right? But yeah, we've tried not to do that when our friends have
sides.
had... Yeah, when our friends have gotten divorced, we've not been that way. But yeah, ours, it would be really tough for us because, again, all of our friends are a couple friends. Yeah, it's all work together.
That's why we stay together, so we don't have to break up our friends.
That's it. We do it for our friends. We are that much of a giving.
You're that committed to your friendships.
Yeah, that we are. We're committed, all right.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you both very much for being on Real Love Real Stories and sharing your love story.
Awesome.
And thank you in advance for getting on the stage live and sharing the other part of your love story.
You'll have to kick Evo off the stage.
Can I wear my romp hem on stage, honey?
Absolutely not.
No.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening and all the way to the end. I am genuinely so grateful. So now you can continue to show your support in a few different ways. The first one is, if you can think of someone who might benefit from this episode, please send it to them. And the second thing is, we all are on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and the like. So please share this episode. And I love it when people tag me to their post. And 3, head over to iTunes. You can leave a review and you can rate this episode. All your feedback is very helpful and it helps this podcast get visible so others can listen to all these great stories. Thank you so much. Till next time.